Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Hard Truth. Today, I would like to expound on my point regarding karma and the possibility of Bryan Kohberger being acquitted. Today's hard truth is good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from bad judgment. And this quote is by Rita Mae Brown. Okay, many of the unfavorable situations we get ourselves in are due to bad judgment. If we would just slow down, listen to intuition, and then think things out a little more, we would have less chaos in our day to day experiences. Okay, how does this relate to our topic for today? In order to arrest Bryan Kohberger, law enforcement had to make many judgments, and the outcome of this case will hinge on the quality of those judgments. I want to present a likely cycle of redemption for Kohberger. Okay, the first scene is death, which is when Kohberger was arrested. And he wasn't just arrested. They stormed the Kohberger home. They broke out windows and burst through the doors just to arrest him. Now, most people would expect you to come to the door and say, we need your son to come down to the station for questioning. And once the person is there, you take them into custody or whatever. But that's not what happened. Okay? The family was pretty much traumatized just to arrest him. It was like a public display or something to really be dramatic for the public. I don't know what the reasoning was. But prior to this case, the Kohberger family has not been a threat to the public. As a matter of fact, it's been quite the contrary. The parents have worked in the public schools. I even saw an article about Bryan helping to save someone's life as a security guard a few years ago. Well, he was pretty young then. I'm not sure whose judgment it was to tear up these people's home like that in a society where you're innocent until proven guilty, but it just adds layers on that compound the situation later on. Okay, the second phase is the burial stage. In this case, it's Kohberger's incarceration. Okay, society is saying close the door and throw away the key, if you will. All right, your mental and emotional states are constantly being attacked. The other inmates are telling you how corrupt the system is, how long they've been in there, and man, you going to chain gang. That's what the inmates are telling him. You cut off from your support systems, and this is where a lot of people pretty much just lose it. Okay, in this phase, it shows you who your family and your friends are. Because in high profile cases, the media and even the police are willing to pay top dollar for information. Whether it's true or not, if you're willing to publicly own your story, you can get paid. And so you remember when Michael Jackson was being accused of molesting those kids, and at first the whole family was behind him, and then a little while later, Latoya came out saying, "Hey, maybe this or that he did was, a little out of order." She switched out, and so she got paid for that. And do you remember O.J. Simpson case? Cato was living with him. He testified that he was with him at McDonald's, and that he couldn't see how he could have killed Nicole. Years later, I guess he needed a few dollars. He came out and told Barbara Walters. He told a few people that he believed OJ did it years later. And the only reason he did that is for the paycheck. Because otherwise, who cares what he has to say after this man has gotten off with your testimony, right? And so even Trump's family is pointing the finger at family members over the raid. So family and friends will sell you down the road because when a person gets broke, they'll switch out on you quick. But the problem is we don't have that here. Even though Kohberger's family could get paid millions to sell Bryan out, his family's still standing behind him. As a matter of fact, his sisters are completely outraged. But they one of his sisters right now could get paid God only knows how much to come out and just give a half a sentence implying that Bryan is a stalker or a rapist or that has violent tendencies. Do you know how much somebody would pay either anybody in that house to come out and say that and seal the deal for him? Okay, so snitches have to get paid. Okay, the last phase is the resurrection stage. And this is when you escape the thing that's trying to kill you. Okay, if they can't convict Bryan, they have done the Kohberger family so dirty until they can never pin it on somebody else. That's why they have already said they are not looking for anybody else. Okay, because if they pin it on somebody else, they just might as well start signing checks. Okay, meanwhile, the Kohberger family is already thinking lawsuits. You can see from a post that somebody in the family supposedly made anonymously. Here's it circled in the red. They said, we're going to sue everybody. And frankly, I wouldn't blame them. They're letting you know if you cannot prove that Bryan did this, we're coming for you. And we coming for you in civil court, and you're going to have to catch us outside. All right. And so far, this family is not settling for small change tabloid money. They're going for the juggler. Okay, the moral of the story is fools rush in. I understand that from a socioeconomic perspective, a small college town cannot afford to have a mass murderer or a serial killer running around. That's common sense. And maybe Bryan did do it. But by the way the investigation has been conducted, in my opinion, it reflects a lot of bad judgment. For the simple fact that if it's not him, they can't convict anybody else, and they still have to pay. And the real killer can show up and do the same thing in a few months. Then what?